Hey there. Good to see you're still surviving. That means I did something right. Now, you're armed and dangerous, but are your settlers the same? They're all running around with pipe pistols and it's not very intimidating. You need something that's cheap, everywhere, and a little bit more powerful, maybe a bit more oomph to their guns. Not to mention the ammunition type too. That's gotta be cheap. Because that way, if anyone ever attacks them, they can defend themselves. Gun turrets are fine and all, but they get trashed pretty easily. And when they're gone and trashed in a fight, the sellers left to defend for themselves. So what weapon's the best weapon for this? Well, I think I have an answer. A pipe revolver pistol. Yes. Similar to the pipe pistol in terms of quality and looks. But it is still nonetheless very much available, cheap ammunition, and very customizable. Well, not as much as the pipe pistol, but you'll get the idea soon enough. It is still going to be a semi-automatic, but you could choose either be a pistol variant or a rifle variant. Alright, so what do we know about the pipe pistol? We know it's used by the raiders, nearly all of them. Like, I'm not even joking. It takes .45 caliber. It's pretty much a 6-shot magazine, standard Magnum size, and the accuracy is pretty darn good. Fire rate, well, it's still a Magnum. Between all other guns, it's probably one of the guns with the slowest fire rate. Weight-wise, it's pretty light. And from the hip, it works pretty damn good. So yes, the pipe revolver pistol. It might even be good for someone starting out. But at this point, you may be past that area, and are more moving into the heavy to intermediate weapons. But nonetheless, I will cover this anyway. Now, down the firing range, you can tell from the hip, it's an excellent weapon. Consistently hitting the target every time. Don't even need to use the sights in this thing, and not to mention, the recoil is a bit heavy. Now, the only downsides are you got the 6 shots and the low fire rate. Even on more quicker firing, we can still see it's slow. But oh well. Now, I know what you mean. I could tell. You're telling me, man, you look at this weapon and you think you need a tetanus shot. And you may be right. Just get that anyway, just to be safe. But yes, this weapon is not perfect. I know. But it's not for you primarily, it's for your settlers. Now, before we got to talk about numbers, I do have my gunslinger and my rifleman perks all maxed out. So if you're curious about that damage, it is fully maxed out. And you'll see everything. Not really apply to your settlers if you're planning to give it to them, but beside the point. Now, this time I'm going to start off with receiver. But there's a lot of other things you can customize on this gun. Pretty much how you like it. Now, on the receiver, we're going to screw this half the section and go right to the bottom, because at the bottom is where our interests lie, provided you can go that far. As you know, you can put it to a .38 or a .308, so you can get that sniper ammo in there. Increasing its firepower a little bit. Not dramatically, but a little bit. It's not like the pipe bolt-action pistol going to 50 caliber here. But for the barrel, for what we're going to use it for, we're going to go with a long finned barrel, so there's no penalty to accuracy. And I mentioned it's still pretty light. Best of everything. You could go with a long ported barrel, or a long light, but I'll go finned. Now, whether it's a pistol or a rifle is up to you. You're going to get the job done either way. But I chose to take a rifle variant, so it's good with scopes. You don't need scopes, no, but nonetheless, it still works just fine. Now for scopes, I'm going to go with a medium. This is not a sniper rifle. As much as taking a .308, it's still not a sniper rifle. It's too long. So we'll take a medium, because this is not a close quarter combat weapon anymore either. Now it's a rifle. It's no good from the hip. Well, still decent from the hip, but not reliable enough. Now, since we don't want fires in close quarter, we can actually put a suppressor on, without any worries about it's penalizing us for using it in combat. So from the hip, we did penalize everything a bit, and you can see that it's not consistent. It is relatively close, but not close enough from the hip. Even if we're a quicker rate of fire, still not good enough. But down the scope is pretty darn good. Exactly what we need. Every shot hits the dot. Every hit, crotch shot. Awesome. Alright, awesome. We just took the pipe revolver pistol, which is owned by every raider from here to the capital wasteland, and turn it into something quite useful, actually. Even player use worthy. I don't recommend the plain version, but this could work. This will overpower many enemies. Is it endgame material? No. But it is still useful. Now, I've tested against many enemies, and raiders were the first choice. But to be honest, they didn't put up a fight. Its accuracy did just fine at medium range. Moving on from that, I took it against some super mutants. And the results varied. I did get a nice couple of shots on, and its accuracy did hell, for the most part. But, unfortunately, you can't kill everything in one hit. So you might have to take multiple shots for all your opponents, even if they're common-wise. For long range, the shots start to vary a bit, as that's why I didn't put a long scope on. So I knew the gun wouldn't make it for long range. For ghouls, well, I don't recommend using this weapon at all, but I fired it from the hip, which got lucky this battle. But it could have went south very quickly, because you don't want to fire this gun in point-blank range, but works nonetheless. Now, against stronger opponents, and again, don't use this in close-quarter combat, it's a bad idea. It's just not going to cut through these bigger enemies. You're just wasting your time and your ammo, and you're just getting beaten to a pulp by this super mutant with a big sledgehammer. Now, for shits and giggles, I managed to come across a sentry bot by here, but this is a bad idea. How bad of an idea? Well, bad enough that I wouldn't do this twice. It's just a bad idea. You barely scratch that thing. You have to reload 3 to 4 times just to kill it. So, let's throw some pros and cons. Pros. Very accessible weapon. It's everywhere. It's also very customizable. Its ammo type is found everywhere, and has pretty decent firepower. Cons. It has a lackluster fire rate. The range cannot go to long range. And it is not a really endgame weapon. But still good nonetheless, and still widely available to give to settlers. And if you wish to give it to your companions, it's a very cheap to run weapon for them. If not, then disregard all my information and move on. I'll move on to a different weapon soon. But nonetheless, you can arm this with your settlers, and they can be a lot safer with this in their hands. And maybe even you too, if you need it. But that's Weapon Showcase. Thank you for watching. See you next time.